let's talk solutions. So the first one that people throw around to make the regular season matter more, to make everything, to fix the player injuries, all that stuff is to shorten the season. Do you think there's like a sweet spot number from 82 down to something else, or is this another one where it's a losing battle because there's no way that they're going to cut it down?
There's got to be a way to do it. I've heard different theories. I've heard cut it down to 62 or cut it down to 67 or cut it down to something else and make the playoffs earlier, start the season in like December. I've heard like different combinations of this. I think they all have a case. I think it's not a matter of like if they can do it. I think it's some of the constraints uh, that are finance related, which is the TV deals, right? Oh, less games. Okay. Well, we keep giving you TV money, and the TV money is good every year. Does this mean that the value of the TV deal is less? The salary cap and the collective bargaining agreement are all based around probably to some degree how long the season is. So there will need to be a rehaul of how like the game is paid out, how it's constructed, how it's advertised, and when. That stuff I think is more of a headache than how many games are going to be played, and I think that might be the reason why it's taken so long to for the conversation to be brought up to Adam Silver. I've never heard Adam Silver address the question that we should shorten the season. I don't know. I think yeah, I've said too much, but I think that yeah, there's something to be said there.
I mean, maybe starting the season a little earlier instead of, I think usually around Halloween, maybe start it a few weeks earlier so there's fewer back-to-backs. Like I know that'll cut into the off season, but maybe you start the season a little bit earlier, but you take the first round back down to best of 5 versus best of 7 because that, stretch that probably saves you a week or two sometimes of these series that go to 7 in the first round. So maybe you figure that part around. But yeah, there's just so much money at stake and so many of these owners. I mean, aside from TV deals, just the amount of money they make from gate receipts and all the other stuff. So I don't see them doing that anytime soon, but maybe just extending the duration of the season so they can fit more game not fit more games in, but have fewer back to backs and less rest or more rest, I should say, for the players. So the other one that you mentioned as a potential solution is just, I mean, it sounds like state sponsored propaganda or state controlled media, but it's like, hey, let's stop shitting all over the league where you have an announcer. I mean, the way they talk about the threes, or you have some of the guys will say, straight up, like, I don't care about, Hornets Magic on a Tuesday or whatever. I mean, is that something that they can actually control? Is to maybe enforce like a let's try and stay positive approach to coverage?
They're the NBA. They should be able to try and be as annoying as possible about whatever they want. I think there's this funny David Stern story where there was a meeting with a number of executives. I don't recall what the details were, but Scott Skiles, former point guard and I believe coach of played for the Magic, and I think he coached the Magic too, had a strong disagreement with something that David Stern was talking about. And he said, it's an interesting point you make. There's two factors here. There's our uh, $10 billion league with X number of revenue, and there's Scott Skiles.
I saw where you go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they can tell anyone they want to just talk about basketball. Don't talk about the too many threes. Stop telling our players they don't want it enough. Just talk about basketball.
Yeah, I think at the very least they can do it with their broadcast partners. So if you're ESPN or TNT or whatever it is, you can be like, I mean, I know Charles Barkley probably doesn't take orders from anyone, but some of these other people, it's just kind of his brand. He's like this grumpy old man, which is fine. But some of these other guys, like you can just tell them, like, hey, let's just try to gear the conversation towards what's happening on the court. Let's try to be more positive about this. I mean, if you can't control what Paul Pierce says on First Things First or whatever FS1 show he's on, because they don't broadcast the NBA, so they're not like beholden to that. Maybe they can, maybe the rights to replays or something. I don't know, whatever kind of carrot or stick that they can use to try to enforce it. But I think that would help because it's not helping anybody when you have people that cover the game or at least pretend to cover the game in some cases just having like this complete negative approach where they're devaluing games, they're hating on the players, that sort of thing. Um, Anything else when it comes to like solutions that you can think of? I mean, I know we're going into a new era with NBC and Amazon. Do you think that they're going to take a different approach to coverage?
I'm really excited about this. I think that the league going off on such a high note with the game seven and it being a really good postseason, the momentum is great because NBC is a very accessible channel. They have Peacock, which is in millions of households. That's included in a lot of like cell phone service and stuff like that. That's great. Amazon broadcasts the NFL. That's in like 300 million homes or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy.
So yeah, I know that NBC as a brand, NBA and NBC, there's like nostalgia is very powerful. Everyone loves to talk about what used to be. I think that they have an opportunity to, now we got games on whenever we want on NBC. We got games whenever we want on Peacock. We got that little song that you all love,
Round ball rock, man.
Round Ball
It's
Rock.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot there where the games are going to be easier to find on cable TV and on Amazon, which a lot of people have.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to sum it up from my perspective, it's like the game is changed. The game is it looks like a completely different sport from 10, 20, 30 years ago. And I think if you want to focus on the worst possible games, like if you're watching a terrible game where no one is hitting from three, or you're watching a 30, 40 point blowout, you can talk about that, till you're blue in the face. And the same, but you can do that for any league, right? Even the big bad NFL, they have their fair share of blowouts, even on primetime TV, and no one seems to care. But for whatever reason, the NBA, the coverage is always, it starts from a negative place. Instead of focusing on, hey, we have this whole new crop of unbelievable new stars that are all vying to be the face of the league. Maybe we don't have a perfect successor yet to like the LeBron Steph era. Uh, and instead of focusing on that and the fact that these guys are more skilled than ever. I mean, occasionally you'll have an announcer, they'll show someone like, I don't know, Anthony Simons or some other player that's like good but not great, and they're just hitting this impossible shot, and they'll say like they'll use him as this beacon of like everyday rotation guys are hitting shots and making plays and showing off this level of athleticism that we've never seen before in the league. And when you come from that perspective, it I think that's what's going to bring people in. It's not like, hey, the NBA is not what it used to be. Oh, they're taking too many threes. It's like, look at these guys, look at these absolute athletic freaks of nature doing things you've never seen before, where they're hitting logo threes and doing all kinds of crazy stuff in transition. It's like, I think that positivity is the main solution. Like, let's just focus on all the amazing cool shit that's happening, and all that negativity. If you want negativity, you go to FS1 and you could hear Paul Pierce complain about, legacies or whatever it is. You don't need to come to our coverage. And I mean, sometimes I think it's that simple. Am I crazy for thinking it's as simple as just like coming with a optimistic look at things?
It's how I feel too. I think the NBA is not doing that. They might think they are, but I don't think there's enough focus on this game is incredible. Like what was the slogan in the 90s? I love this game, I think, or
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
what's the slogan now? Is there a slogan now?
I mean, I don't think so. For TNT, it was like we know drama. Uh, the fact that we can't think of one is tough. Yeah, I don't know.
These are it's entertaining. Like the athletes and the brand and the sport all connect in some way, and you have to make them compelling at the end of the day with the style of play. Style of play is great. Everyone's great. They're so much better than they ever were. There's more talent than there ever was in the league. This is all about positioning yourself and your players as a premium sport. With the wrap up of the Olympics and everyone seeing how the USA played and that high on how they won gold. I think that blended pretty well into this season. I think there's a new era where positioning can increase so much through their new broadcast partners. It's less reliant on ESPN and Turner, and you got new players like you ever watch Thursday Night Football? Amazon's doing cool stuff with players, and they got like different views and all that. Like it's going to be really exciting to see what these broadcast partners do, in addition to the NBA going above and beyond to make this like just making this. We're focusing on beautiful basketball, entertaining basketball, not about, to your point, not leading with three. We're just teeing it up, and I think the point is to be delusional to some degree, right? Like football
It's the
happiness is
mythology. Buy
yes,
into the
football
mythology
happiness
of the game.
is yes, yes. The mythology is what it's all about. Football happiness is delusional. Uh, Oilers, Texans, and Jags on a Thursday night. Not always a great game, right? But there's still people watching it because it's on. So make people feel like when basketball's on, whether it's 80 games or not, that they should tune in.
Yeah, there you go. I think I'm gonna take this, send it to Secaucus for is it official resume
We did it.
application?
We did it.
Yeah,
We did it. Basketball's back. All thanks
yeah.
to
There you
us.
go.
We solved basketball.
We
And
fixed it.
we are pleading is what we're doing. Is like, I don't care about the ratings. I love when the game is presented that way. Like those intros during this finals were amazing. I still go back and watch Bob Costas say, Wayne, so and Bill Russell won this and that, and he'll like start referencing other athletes. But Michael Jordan has still not won an NBA championship. Could this be the night he does
Mm.
so? Like, bring that shit back, man. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. It's incredible.